Hello, it's Beachcam's Man and Jack from BAM, and in this video we take a look at the new footbridge and the work that Stoneman Engineering are currently doing. We get to see inside the new lift shafts. Jack shows us round the stilling basin now that all three spans are open. This is phase 2 of Network Rail's South West Rail Resilience programme. It's all part of a government-funded programme of ongoing work on the line between Dawlish and Teignmouth to help reduce disruption for passengers by affording the railway better protection from the cliffs and the sea. But before we start, please give this video a like, a share and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already done so. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and my other YouTube channel for more content.
So since our last tour, we've opened up an additional 34 spaces in the car park, basically because we've not got the volume of materials like we used to have coming down to the project, mainly because most of our work's just on the lift bridge. So we've still got the access ramp up onto the platforms, and that is the only way to access up onto the platforms through the car park at the moment. And the reason for that is because we've had to take the stairs out of use so we can build the new stairs in front of it. Okay. So as we come into the job in a second, I'll walk you through and show you that.
So is there any more cranes to come?
No, cranes are all finished and precast units are all installed as well. So in total between the three phases now we've installed 1,799 precast units. Around about 32,000 metres cube of concrete, which is about 70,000 tonnes. We've worked about 1.3 million man hours in total. So the amount of actual effort and time that's gone into the project. So this will be the new stairs and the new entrance up onto the platforms. The ticket machine's getting moved from the location that it's currently in at the moment, and it's going on the base up the top in front of the window. And the parking ticket machine on the right hand side that you see over there is going somewhere in here as well. Okay. So as you walk up from the kind of the Dawlish town itself now, you'll come up through here and we've got a new curb line to install through this section. So there won't be no parking in here. This will be a usable walkway. There'll be a few cycle racks. We're putting 2 planters in that corner to allow some one of the local charities to plant some kind of bushes and things like that into there. All of this section around here then has handrailing put onto it. So there's a handrailing to go on this edge here. There's a handrailing to go up the centre because the stairway is so wide. And you'll have 2 separate walkways.
Super wide stairway.
Handrailing to go up on the opposite side over there. We've still got the tactiles and things like that to put into the bottom of this section here, and that's basically to warn members of the public with reduced visibility. So as you come around the corner then, you'll have a wider walkway through this section, and like I say, a few cycle racks and things like that, and the planters. Bit of lighting to go in here as well, I believe, on the couple of bases which are on the floor. And then you have the ramp which comes back around up then. So the ramp will lead back onto the platforms. I think in the last video we talked about the ramp going in at that point in time. That's right. The section that you can see open there will have a fence going through it. And that's just to prevent people kind of jumping up the side of the ramp back onto the platforms. And then all of this will be back open to the public. There'll be disabled car parking spaces on the right hand side of this fencing.
Oh great, so right next to the ramp.
Right next to the ramp, and then you'll be able to go straight up to the ramp onto the disabled access footbridge once you've obviously got your ticket. So like I say, the ticket machine will be at the top of the ramp. So at the minute we've got RES on site, one of our M&E subcontractors. They're installing the M&E and telecoms and lighting, etc. Which is what you can see here. The reason why this pile of stone is here at the minute is because when we are putting materials up onto the footbridge, our forklift doesn't quite have the reach.
Oh, okay. So, bit of a ramp for it.
Yeah, so we drag the ramp when the car park's not in the formation that it's in at the minute. The reason why it's in that alignment is because we're connecting the lift pit drainage into the manhole over the opposite side.
Right, I see.
So when this fencing's moved back, we level the stone ramp back out, and it gives us that a bit more height to allow us to get up onto the footbridge with our forklift. So we're just getting prepared now for the final surfacing. So all the way around through this section, we'll have a granite curb similar to the granite curb which comes up into the car park on the front edge of this. And then all of this section's getting resurfaced with tarmac, the same as what the platforms are. So you'll come round a nice tarmac smooth surface, walk up the top here, and then you'll have the ticket machine over that section. And we are also surfacing just from underside of the canopy to the opposite side of the footbridge to remove like all the defects in the tarmac as we've been completing the work around the footbridge.
Okay.
And where we've got temporary surfacing.
Cool.
So since we came last time, Stoneman Engineering have been on site and they've been installing the black handrail which bolts onto the outside of the staircases. Yeah. And then we've got DW Windsor on site at the moment, and they're just fitting the illuminated handrail into the footbridge. So the top handrailing on both sides actually lights up underneath.
Oh wow.
So that'll give you kind of lighting as you walk up onto the footbridge.
Nice.
And the same as you go over the top of the footbridge. So if you just put the camera over the wall from this side now, you can see the parapet which has started to be fixed on. Yeah. So Stoneman have been working in possessions installing that. So they put the uprights on, and then we have an RRV mute which goes on track, and that lifts the panels up onto the side, and they bolt the panels on from the back then.
Looks very smart.
And then on top then, the reason why the top 300mm doesn't have any kind of cladding on it is because there's a glazing panel to go into there. Yeah. So we ordered the glazing panel about 2 weeks ago, and it's on a 2-week lead, and that will be delivered about the 18th and be fitted on the possession on the 23rd. Okay. The glazing that goes into there is actually designed to withstand wave impact as well, even at that level. So, So it's like 40mm thick glass, so the glazing is about that thick.
Impressive.
So the stairs themselves and the treads, they all have a GRP finish put on, similar to what's on the staircases down on the seawall as you walk up onto the top, and also similar to the footbridge which is down, the existing footbridge which is in place.
And you've got this section filled in now. This was open before, wasn't it?
Yeah, so that's the deck ends, they're all tied off, and the infill slabs are also poured as well. So it's all really coming together now. And as you walk over the bridge, you can kind of start to see the parapet and the finish, what it'll look like. The actual bridge deck itself will have a GRP plate which goes over the top of it to provide slip resistance. Yeah. And it'll also kind of clean up all the kind of joints in the concrete that we've got.
This looks very nice, this panelling.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a marine grade stainless again. Yeah. It's a Dupex stainless system, and the actual stainless itself has been blasted so that when the train drivers are approaching the bridge, if it's a sunny day, there's no reflections or glare from the shiny stainless to the train driver. So that's why you get this kind of matte look effect. Yeah. Otherwise, it'd be something similar to the panel that you can see at the bottom.
Blind them as they're coming through.
Yeah.
Looks impressive.
So we've got Stoneman working in the distance now. They're installing the canopies above the doorways. The reason why we've left the canopies off until now is because of the lifting all the materials up onto the deck ends. Yeah. So if we put the canopy up there, it kind of restricts us with material deliveries up onto the deck.
You've had scaffolding up there as well, haven't you? Which is
yeah. So what we were doing up on with the scaffolding is you see the rod which is at the top there. Yeah. That's a lightning rod. Okay. And what it does is it earths the tower right back down into the ground. So where that earthen rod is, it attaches onto one of the dowel bars, which, as you know, there's many dowel bars in that structure, which go right the way from the bottom to the top. Yeah. And the dowel bars then get connected to an earthen rod, which goes back into the ground there. So if lightning does strike the tower, it earths itself out. Yeah, yeah. Stoneman are back on site still at the minute. They're just putting the first canopy up above the doorway.
All right, yeah, all right. How are we doing again?
So yeah, they're fitting the canopy into the the groove which Shea Murtaugh had cast into the lift shaft tower 4. And they'll be probably finished with this canopy today and moving on to the next one. The canopy drains down through the lift towers itself, so there's drainage holes cast into the precast units. Okay.
Yes, we saw those at Shays as well, didn't we?
Yeah, and then the deck itself on both sides has eco channels which run around the edge, which connect up into the drainage on the floor then.
Okay.
So any surface water runoff from the deck, because it's got a camber in it,
yeah,
will go into the eco system over here then.
So you've filled in the holes to lighten it now as well. I'm not sure if you'd done that last time.
Yeah, no, we hadn't. No, so these holes here contain about 3 cube of concrete each hole, so 6 cube in total. If we'd have cast that over in Showmertage yard, it would have meant that we'd had an extra 12 tonne in weight roughly.
Yeah.
Well, probably 13, 14 tonne in weight, and we wouldn't have been able to lift it with the biggest crane we could get in the car park. So that was the reason why we left the cutouts in here and filled the deck full of polystyrene. Yeah. So we've actually finished the surfacing on all of that side of the seawall now. We completed the last pour over the weekend.
Yeah.
The lads are just working down in that section, completing a few more benches which we hadn't finished.
Yeah.
And then once the benches have been completely finished, we can get the machine off the wall and then open the promenade fully in width all the way through this section. So it won't be long at all before the promenade's open in full width.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. With one of our last constraints was actually putting in that unit where we've been pumping the concrete through.
Yes, yeah.
So we put that unit in 2 weekends ago.
Okay.
We've done the structural slab concrete pour in there. And then we're just waiting for the weather to kind of dry up a bit. So on Saturday night when the lads were working, it was probably the worst weather we've experienced.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
It
was a nice thunderstorm.
Oh, I'm glad it didn't come then.
The earthen rods weren't tested out because it was all the way over timber.
All over there, yeah. I did see it on the sea breeze cam.
Yeah, yeah. So this
signs.
So we're putting up all the new signage now, which kind of directs you to the footbridge and where to go up and over the footbridge, etc. This fencing that you can see down here on the right hand side, that comes out.
Yeah.
That was just while we were doing the platform works. That comes out, and we break out all this surface around here and realign the platform into the new levels. Because when we'd originally put this in, obviously none of this section behind us here existed.
No.
This is all something we put in over time, and as the units have been put in.
Yeah.
So we'll break out all around here, resurface all of this, and it will remove all the kind of low spots and high spots, and it'll have a nice uniform finish, and there won't be like scarring where we've kind of patched tarmac in.
Yeah.
Again, tactiles at the top and bottom of the steps. We've got the eco drainage channels which run down the side of the platform then. And you can see the level difference on why we need to break out. So we've probably got to take this down another 150 mil and then relay the basin surface course in this section of the platform.
Okay.
These pallets here are all the equipment for Stana. Stana is our lift contractor.
Okay.
I'll take you over the other side because these 2 pallets are blocking the doors at the moment.
Yeah.
And they can only be moved with the pallet truck. But I'll take you over the other side and you can see some of the work that they've been doing. So they've been fitting all the mechanical and electrical equipment in both of the plant rooms.
Yeah.
So on each side we've got the plant rooms underneath the stairs.
Yeah.
And that contains all the hydraulic equipment which lifts the lift up and down, and all the M&E equipment which powers the hydraulic system. So we can go and have a little bit of a look over that side now. This is what the inside of a lift looks like without the lift being fitted. So the brackets that you can see there, they're to take the floor paneling of what we call the lift car. So that's basically the bit that you stand in.
Yeah.
All the bit on the side of the guide rails.
Yeah.
And then this big kind of grey thing that you can, like kind of ram that you can see here, is the hydraulic ram which takes the lift up and down.
Up and down, okay.
Yeah. So right at the top is a black lifting beam. So Stoneman engineer fabricated that for us and installed that for us.
I remember that going in, yeah.
And basically all of the kit that is lifted into this plant room here, into this lift tower here, is lifted in by that lifting beam from the top.
Okay.
So we have to feed all the materials into the doorway here, just in front of the fence and that was stood behind.
Yeah.
And then they use the kind of the winch system there to pull all the materials into the doorway and fix it all in then. So all of this is fixed to the side with the kind of channels that you can see over there.
Yeah.
There's multiple channels that you can see, and that's what sets the guides for the lift car itself. And like I say, the lift car will be sat on top of those 2 brackets that you can see on the floor there then.
Impressive.
So we'll start installing the lift cars from Monday.
Yeah.
And then once this is all complete, we repaint everything and freshen everything up. So this is what it looks like inside of one of the plant rooms. So that over there is the hydraulic kind of pack which pumps all the hydraulic fluids into the ram for the lift to lift.
Okay.
And then this is all your kind of M&E equipment which gets fitted into there. So all your kind of distribution boards and power boards and things like that. There's isolators for fans, for like extractor fans and things like that to take air out, to
cool it and stuff.
Yeah. You've got the emergency control panels which go into the lift here. So you've got the intercom and things like that. They go up at the platforms, which get fitted into the grooves that Shea Murtaugh cast into the facing panels. You've got telecoms which come into here as well. So in the event that the lift car does get stuck and somebody is stuck inside, there's telecoms provided inside so that it can go back to a control panel, so that somebody can can call to say, I'm stuck in the lift.
Yeah. Hopefully that won't happen.
Can somebody come and help me out? Yeah. That's just a measure that you have to have. So like I mentioned earlier, we've got the 3 underpasses open now, so the ramps are completely finished off and the curb lines been readjusted to suit the new levels in this area. So prior to us obviously opening this section, we had a drop curb through here.
That's right.
And we had to resurface all of this section with a new paving and tie it back into the existing levels. So the only section that we've got fenced off there is just where we keep the machine. And then as you come back underneath, then we go back underneath the link bridge.
Yeah. It still surprised me how spacious it is now. It's amazing. It's such a great spot.
Yeah, it's great to come down and watch the tide and things like that.
Yeah.
You get some pretty cool waves that hit the front of the wall as well.
Yeah. Get some great views on the camera now it's moved.
Yeah. A few people have asked why there's no recurve on the front of there. Purely just a planning decision from the local planning officer.
Yeah. I like it. It's going to get me some good photos.
Absolutely, yeah.
Join us next week when Jack shows us around Phase 4. We look around the work they're doing up at Lee Mount and the nailing and netting over at Shell Cove. If you're a VIP, you can watch it now. To become a VIP, just hit the join button on YouTube or our website.